Hi there, I'm Dan Hallfield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. Stupid Clock was a lot of fun tonight. We're going to try and pick up from where we left off there with a couple of minor changes. And at the moment, we have Chris and Bill here. Stephanie Osborne will be joining us in a few minutes. She had to get up and stretch her legs because Stupid Clock was pretty much sitting in the chair and talking for a while, so these things may happen. But we'll be set up and ready to go, and we're actually live, and we have somebody watching us from the Rising Tide. Yes, we are. We are a Rising Tide channel here. Let me just run. I haven't run this in a
It's
while.
Rick.
It's Rick. Oh,
Yeah. Hi, Rick.
and just to give us a minute to take a potty break if we need one. Welcome to the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Here you will find a variety of shows which cover a wide array of interests, from comics to creativity, mysteries to mixology, and science to history. There's something for all interests at the Rising Tide. There are shows every day of the week, daytime and nighttime. So take a look at our schedule and see what appeals to you. If you're interested in comics, both independent and mainstream, check out Comics Chaos and Sass, or Comic Book Spectrum, or From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. If you want encouragement and advice on furthering your creativity, we have Creative as Hail and Tidbits and Scribbles. If you enjoy mysteries and conspiracy theories, we have The Truth Mongers. If you're into interviews with up-and-coming talents, there is a TED Talks made just for you, as well as Clever Title Pending. If you're into classic combat sports, there's the Historical Fencing Guild. And if you want to know what it's like to hang out with convention regulars, we have Stupid O'Clock and Last Man Standing. If you want witty repartee and fast-paced fun, check out Nevermind the Furthermore. If the science of rocketry and spaceflight is your thing, we have Armchair Rocket Science. But that's by no means all the Rising Tide has to offer. New shows will be added as they develop, so stay tuned. All Rising Tide shows share a spirit of mutual cooperation, under the philosophy that a rising tide raises all ships. Lightly ruled over by our comic ringmaster of mayhem, Brian K. Morris, we support and promote each other's works. What helps one of us to greater success helps all of us achieve even more successes. So look at the schedule, check out the shows, and we're sure that you will want to come back for more. Okay, that was long-winded, but we're here, and let's see. Yep. And here we have.
Hello, Rick.
Hey, Rick, how you doing?
How they do?
So,
Now, Dan, was that the most updated commercial?
No, that
Okay,
was,
I didn't think so. I know.
No, not at all. Brian needs to send me a list of the shows we have now, the new ones, and the ones that are have just been made. I mean, Ted and Glenn have got a second show. Michaela has dropped out of the Rising Tide, even though I hate to stop listing her on the schedule because she's still doing the Tidbits and Scribbles at the same time. She's just no longer affiliated with Rising Tide. And
but we can still promote her.
We can
easily.
I just have to drop her off the official schedule.
Right.
which I hate to do. I really hate to do that because I love that show, and it's not because I've been guesting on it for the last two or 3 weeks, because it's turned into a writer's workshop sort of thing, and that's a lot of people who are up and coming writers really need the perspective of folks that have been at it for a while, and everybody that shows up there has been at it for a while. So there's and we help each other. They help me come up with a new direction to take a story that I've been working on here, so I can finish the book that I've got in progress right now. It's still percolating in the back of my mind. I have not gotten to the actual writing of it, but now I've got a good handle on which way the plot needs to twist in order to end the book.
And you're very close, aren't you? If I remember right.
I am very, very close. The reason that I went and asked for help was the last chapter was turning into just biography. There was no action going on. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the book is real heavy with action. And I'm going, I don't want anybody to throw this across the room. I need to spice it up a little bit here in the last chapter. So let me go talk to some experts and see what they suggest. And sure enough, the group consensus was, if you go this direction, you'll be able to do this with it, and if you go that direction, you'll be able to do this with it, and the readers will be happy. And I'm going, good idea. Let me let that percolate. And as soon as I've got the second half of the opening scene in my head, as soon as I can figure out the first half, that sucker's going down, and it's going off to the publisher. So yeah.
What? Another 10,000 words?
Oh, Lord, no.
I believe you said 10 to 15 pages.
Yeah. So that would be 15 pages would be a little under 3,000. Little under 3,000 words. I get about 500 words per page on my word processor. So I've already got part of that knocked out. Now is the time to throw in the action scenes and then tie it all up. I know exactly how it has to end. I just have to get from, hey, my spy is taking a vacation because he's tired of people trying to kill him every 2 weeks, to, hey, the end part of it is, hey, who put this flying saucer in the middle of the road, and how can I stop from hitting it? That's the end of the book, and goes right into the next book that I've already written. It's already out there. I'm doing a prequel to Abducted, so it's my Korean War era, Cold War era spy, Tom Darby. Now, and in Abducted, I wrote that in the 1990s, and I did not know that's what his background was. Now I am following Larry Niven's advice, which says a writer reserves the right to have a better idea after the first story is written. So tying the two of them together is the thing. I want it to flow from, hey, I just had an argument with my girlfriend. I'm going to hop on my motorcycle and go cruise out around the back roads here and get my head straight so I can make up with her later. And then the book that's already out gets started, and he has a different set of adventures and winds up right back on that dirt road. Well, it's not a dirt road. It's a back road, paved road. It's like 7 miles from here. I know it vividly.
You need to change it to a dirt road then.
Well, no, I don't.
If he was in Crisp County, Georgia, there were plenty of dirt roads still left in it.
Well, the thing is, Kenny Rogers has a couple of horse stables on this road, I know it. I know it really well. Kenny Rogers used to live like 7 miles away from where I'm sitting right now.
Mm-hmm.
And at one time back in the day, you could go to a gas station that is now just a restaurant and has been moved up the road from its original location. They had the best hot dogs and chili dogs in this county. And let me tell you, I have had their hot dogs and chili dogs, and they are not bragging. They are just stating facts. They are the best. And then
So
Kenny Rogers would be sitting there in the restaurant. You walk in there, order food, say hi to him, and get your food, and either sit down next to him and eat, or walk out. You know, no big deal. He was just this guy that lived in the big house with the golf course in front.
Well,
so when Kenny Rogers sang "Ruby, don't take your love to town," he meant to say, "Ruby, don't take your love to town on that dirt road."
Yeah,
because I had my horses out on that dirt road, and you don't want.
He did not own that property when when he did that song. This was more not too long after The Gambler came out.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So it would have been late 70s, early 80s.
Yep. He bought this property, nice big house, had a golf course put in. He lived there for many years, and then moved away, and now it is the property is used for weddings, wedding receptions, and I think once a year there's a golf tournament there, and he might or might not show up. I don't know if he still owns the horse stables that were further off of the property and someplace else, but they were Civil War era horse stables. They were brick and historic, so they were not remodeled except to make them a little bit modernized for the horses. Otherwise, they are exactly, from the outside, they look exactly like they did in the 1860s.
Dan, you sound like you live where I live. I've got a wedding place 2 miles to my north, 2 to the south, horse stables 4 miles to the south.
Well, if he shows up now, he's a zombie because he passed away in March 20th.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He's a ghost.
But he was talking about Kenny Rogers.
Yep.
I'm gonna talk about the snake, Kenny Stabler. Nicest man I ever met in my life. I know a lot of people didn't like him, but he was sitting at the bar one night and drinking by himself. I think everybody was scared to go talk to him.
Well,
and my drunk ass, I'm going over and sit down with him. And I bought his first drink, and he bought beer all night for me. And signed the football and everything. Just the joyfulest man you'd ever meet. Which, if anybody didn't listen to Alabama football or don't like Alabama football, he used to do color commentary for the radio. So
he also did color and commentary on network television for CBS years ago.
Yeah. He did that for the NFL, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still alive?
No, he
passed away a few years back.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought, but I wasn't absolutely sure.
Now, and
he won a Super Bowl with the Raiders.
Yes, and I lost my football in the tornado.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
It's probably somewhere in the vicinity of St. Simon's Island right now, just kind of floating around, waiting for you to go find it.
Well, it's probably in Georgia. Somebody probably.
St. Simon's Island is down near Savannah.
See, that's one thing about that tornado that killed me.
Yeah,
I love severe weather, love tornadoes, love it all. I got a check stub, old check stub. I hadn't worked at that job in like 5 years. Somebody in Georgia, I can't remember where it was from, mailed me that check stub. It, it had to be over 200 miles away.
Hey,
At least somebody was decent enough to
Oh,
get it back to you.
that's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
hey, yeah. We found something of yours.
Yeah.
Here it is.
And
There's
I,
still good people in this world.
If it'd
yes.
been a check instead of a stub, we would have
Oh,
just cashed it and
well, see,
not told you a damn thing because I know people in Georgia.
oh, well, I was about to say, well, I had like $600
It's
in
Georgia.
cash in my dresser. I couldn't even find my dresser, let alone that
You
cash.
notice nobody mailed you any
They
of that back.
Yeah.
yeah, they found the check stub on top of the dresser and decided to mail you the check stub and keep the $600.
Bill, you
and-
seen the picture of my house.
And
They wasn't nothing
took the
left.
dresser. They took the dresser to Goodwill.
Yeah.
If that dresser made it through that
Nah.
tornado, it was a miracle.
Yeah, they were
There's a
no.
cow going by.
The only two things that was still left was a washer and a dryer. So
Did they still
Well,
work?
you know what they talk about tornadoes, about the force of the winds of the tornado, and you hear them talking about a piece of straw getting
you can go
just
through
halfway buried
wood.
into a side of a tree or whatever. I didn't see it happen, but I saw it afterwards. We had a tornado out northwest of Fithian, came through, gave Fithian a lot of high winds, but no funnel clouds. Well, we could see the funnel clouds. There were 3 of them actually, but they stayed way north of town. So afterwards, we're out riding our bicycles, kind of surveying the damage, and going out on the back road, going out toward Interstate 74, and we go by Charles Darr's farm, and he's got the fence post there by his pasture, and there is a straw that is stuck probably, I'm guessing, about 10, 12 inches into the side of this fence post. And I'm looking at it and I thought, okay, it's just stuck to a little piece of something on the outside. And I go and I look and my friend saw it first and he says, look at this. And I went to go grab it and I'm like trying to pull on. I mean, it was driven in. And I had a new appreciation about the force of tornadic winds after that day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wish I had a smartphone back then.
Don't we all?
Well, there was a 2x6 that was drove into the side of a hill, like right beside my house. It was over, I'd say 2 foot deep. That was just stuck in the ground.
Mm-hmm. I have seen after a tornado nearby it was like an 8-foot 2x4. It went all the way through an oak tree.
Oh yeah.
I mean 2x4 in one side and 2x4 out the other side, and you know it's the same 2x4. So the one that hit Harrisburg, Illinois on leap day about 10 years ago, thankfully hit on the other side of town, and Rick slipped completely through it and woke up to his phone going crazy with people calling and texting. Yeah. Tornadoes do that to people. They're kind of just a little bit disturbing. We had one come through here last year, and it tore up the yard of a neighbor 2 driveways up the hill from me, or down the hill from me. And it wasn't until the leaves fell for fall that I actually got to see the real extent of the damage. it went right down a creek bed, and it knocked down trees left and right. It knocked down a pole barn that they had in their front yard. It hopped across the road and basically corkscrewed the top out of an oak tree that had been standing since before the Civil War, and went on down the thankfully buried natural gas pipeline, and tore up a whole lot of trees going towards the nearest little town. And there were several others in other locations nearby that did a whole lot more damage. But this is like, I'm at work, they won't shut the factory down so that we can try and get home and be with our families. My wife is here by herself with pets in the bathtub with my full face motorcycle helmet on, holding on to the dog and a couple of cats, while my neighbor's yard gets demolished. And then the tree right across the road, I mean, you can see it from our living room window, gets the top twisted out of it. And she comes out after all the much ado about everything has gone on. And I'm still at work, worried to death because phone service went out here. I mean, tornado, phone lines are not really heavy duty. Thankfully, the closest cell phone tower got power back real quick, and she was able to tell me she's all right. And I still cannot get over the fact that all this is going on where the employees were worried about their families, and we're not allowed to risk their lives to go home during a tornado. But the factory had to stay running.
Oh yeah. That's like when I worked at Delphi. It was right after Katrina. Stephanie, you might be able to help me out on the name of that hurricane that came up through the west. Yeah, it'd be the west side of Tuscaloosa and did so much damage. Was it Ivan? Maybe.
It might have been, yeah.
But they would not let us leave for crap. And then finally Mercedes shut down, so that meant we could go home. So yeah, here I go driving to the house, to my grandmother's house at about 3 o'clock in the morning. 70-mile-an-hour winds, all good stuff. I had to stop to get beer because my nerves couldn't handle it. I wasn't home for maybe 10 minutes, in which my dumb self, which I do it anyways. I still do it now. Stand on the front porch and watch stuff. But standing there watching the wind blow, my aunt lived across the street in the house, and here comes a tree right on power lines. But if they'd have had their
house,
yeah, pretty much. But that shows how much them companies care for people. They don't give a crap.
The people across the road that own the pasture land that the tree got the top corkscrewed out of it. They've got cows, they've got sheep, they've got horses, they've got all kinds of birds, ducks and swans and things like that. A nice little pond that they've got over there. And I'm going, did you count your sheep after the storm? Somebody might have got a free sweater. Oh, Lord.
Well, Bill, do you think I need to run this idea by these three that Greg and me kind of come up with that I told you about? See what they think about it.
Well, you might as well, because I don't know which one you're talking about.
The fire alarm kind of thing.
The fire alarm with the
Yes.
with
Yeah. Well, I
the
done told
lights.
y'all then.
Uh,
I don't think.
the smoke detector with the flashing light.
Yeah, be a tornado alarm. I don't think I've told Stephanie about that though.
And it was pointed out. Was it Thursday night or was it in the green room?
I think it was a green room, I believe.
It was pointed out that it would be an excellent thing for hearing impaired people to have a smoke alarm or a severe warning, severe weather alert warning that had a flashing light on it, so that they would go, "Oh, I can't hear it, but something,
Yeah.
something set off the alarm there. Let's see if we can get the text here and find out what's going on."
Well, that's what I was going to say. And that company makes a red strobe light, so that would mean tornado.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't make an audible sound, but that would be something that we would have to try to find a way to hook them up with that. But or we could try to do it ourselves. But Stephanie, what do you think about that?
I think it's a good idea. My dad is hearing impaired, and they have a security system around their house that detects movement, and he's got that thing cranked up to the max, to the point where it scares the rest of us half to death when it goes off, and we still can't hear it.
Wow.
So yeah,
Yep.
I think that's a good idea.
And Rick, you're exactly right about Mother Nature.
Yeah.
I don't know what he said, but
he said this.
I can't see it. Yeah, exactly.
Realm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't stop it. It don't give a about anybody. So.
Well, a couple of I think it's been about 2 years now. Tornadoes hit about 3 miles away from my house, and I live in Murray County, which is next to Whitfield County, where Dalton is, and just about everybody's heard of Dalton Carpet, nothing else.
Dalton Carpet Mill. Yep.
And
Dalton.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize Chatsworth had tornado sirens, and they went off. It's the first time in my life I've ever heard them.
Outdoor sirens are a piece of crap.
Well, they were definitely sirens, and I didn't even think Murray County had them. And I was talking with a coworker. Said, "Well, Murray County does it. Chatsworth does." And like I said, it was about 3 miles, and it more or less demolished the whole neighborhood. And I had a high school classmate that couldn't walk for over a year and a half. He was that messed up from it because the house fell on him. And I had there was this lady that used to work at Ingalls. My mom was friends with her husband there, and it killed her husband. And she was messed up pretty bad from her husband dying and damage and debris from the storm and all. And it really did a number. And like I said, it was 3 miles away from my house. I was lucky. Had a few limbs come down. Nothing, no trees fell on anything, and I was really lucky. But I never would have thought about it coming here, because normally everything's to the south and west of us, or to the north and west of us. Because usually when it hits the mountains and it gets around Chattanooga, it deflects it off somewhere.
There are a couple of trailer parks in Athens that have been regularly destroyed. Like once every 10 years, the entire trailer park gets wiped out. And people keep putting trailers there. And I just look at it and I go, You do realize why the rent's so cheap here, right?
Well, I was going to say, I think in the state of Alabama, you have to put a storm shelter in if you build a new trailer park. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephanie.
What now?
That would be
If you build a new
great
trailer
idea.
park, you have to put a storm shelter in the state of Alabama.
It would be a prudent thing to do.
I believe
I
that
don't know. I haven't heard anything
It
about that.
probably
Yeah, I
depends
think they
on
passed that like right after the 2011 storms. I'll have to look it up, double check. Please don't fact check me on that right now. But and our weather group is trying to get grants to do some more research into a lot of things. Watch our page. I'll put it out. Heck, I don't care what podcast I'm on. I'll tell everybody about it. But all right, baby. Love you.
We love her too.
They said they
Good
love
night,
you too.
Kimberly.
They say good night.
Kimberly.
And that was not.
But yeah, we're trying to get some research money or grant money for storm shelters and stuff.
Mhm.
And Tuberville, all we got to do is call him, and it'll probably be a Zoom meeting. You know how they are right now up there. So
Yeah. Yep. Everywhere is the same thing, pretty much.
yeah,
Right?
doctors and everything else. Heck, Chris, what year was that?
I believe it was 2018. It was late
Let's,
2018 when the tornadoes hit Murray County.
let's see.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
What's
the reason,
the little town just south of the Tennessee border, the one that's on its way to the one of
You talking
the
about Ringgold?
when you hit
Ringgold,
the
yes.
Yeah,
Some of our friends from LibertyCon who lived in Ringgold got some severe property damage from that. I think it was the same one.
my dad used to work with the family that got killed, the husband, wife, and both little kids. It really messed him up when he found out about it.
Well, I'm gonna
It
throw
would
this.
mess anybody up. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna throw this question to Stephanie. See if she agrees. Hang on. Do what?
Yeah, severe weather is one of those things that no matter where it happens, even if you're not personally impacted, you're emotionally impacted just by virtue of empathy with the people that are living there.
Well, Tunnel Hill got its name from a tunnel that was dug through the hill. That hill was what kept that tornado from hitting Dalton. And it would have really caused a lot of damage if it had hit Dalton.
Now, there's some kind of natural land formation around here. Usually causes the worst weather to split and go around where my house is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very thankful that formation it was in effect this tornado that came through here last year, because I mean it only missed my house by 50 yards.
That's that football field.
As of January of 2019, there was not a law requiring tornado shelters in mobile home parks.
So they did not pass that?
No, apparently not.
Not yet, but it needs to pass.
It may be something that was done in a local community somewhere around your area, because they can do it where a state might not require it.
This
Okay.
is
Right.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Now that I
Well,
forgot.
there would be a lot of insurance involved in the whole deal
Yeah.
too.
well, the insurance companies would be pushing for storm shelters.
Well,
Let me tell
no, if
you.
it was a trailer park, that would be on the landlord of the trailer park, the landowner.
Well,
So,
Hurricane Andrew made Allstate evacuate Florida.
yep.
They had so many claims against them,
Um,
they just packed up and left the state.
Mm.
I was about to ask Stephanie something until my wife interrupted me. Oh
And now
my
you can't remember
gosh.
what it was.
Yeah, now I can't remember what it was.
That's all right. You're listening to the right woman, though, Josh. So don't worry too much.
No, she was retelling me she was going
She
back to bed.
remember Stephanie can't hit you with the pots and pans, but Kimberly can.
No, hey, she could swing tonight and she wouldn't hit nothing. So,
Well, what I
but
was going to say, to quote, use Josh's favorite phrase, over in Danville, Illinois, where Carl and Donna live, Danville, the middle of town is really down in low in a valley.
Uh-huh.
So when you go east, west, or north, then
yeah,
it starts to climb out. So down in the valley, there's Breezy Towers. It's either 7 or 9 stories high. And when you go north and you go approximately about, I think it's 6 3/4 mile, maybe less, might be 5, maybe 5 3/4, 5.5, whatever it is. There's Schlarman High School, which is a block away from Carl and Donna's house. Now, to give you an idea of how drastic the elevations are, from the ground floor at Breezy Towers in downtown Danville to the top of their towers, or we'll just put it this way, the top floor of Breezy Towers in the downtown area is the ground elevation at Schlarman High School. Now, they said, and they've had a lot of funnel clouds, a lot of really bad windstorms that's whipped through Danville, done a lot of damage. But they said if a funnel cloud ever got down in the downtown area, it would just go through and bounce off of you think of a pinball in a pinball machine just going ding, 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 before it finally would go down the tubes. This is what the funnel cloud would do, and just clean house all in downtown before it would finally either leave or peter out, whatever. Thankfully, that has never happened yet. Knock on wood. But that's how the elevation, how quick it goes up. And so if you ever bring that back up on Stupid O'Clock, say next Thursday when Carl and Donna are on there, they can confirm that thing. And it just, you think, okay, where I live, about 10 miles west here in Oakwood, which we're Cornfield County, and it's flat everywhere. And I have right outside my window across the street's cornfield. And you think, oh, that's going to come ripping through and tearing everything up and all that. But I've seen a whole lot more damage over in Danville in some areas. And thankfully, it's never been downtown to where it's just ripped everything. I mean, they have Vermain County Courthouse down there. So many Breezy Towers is on the historical charter there, but register, I meant to say historical register. But thankfully, it's never happened yet, though. And now everybody gets quiet.
I'm still trying to think what I was going to ask Stephanie.
You should have wrote it down.
I had to make rooms.
Sorry, I had to step away to the beer fridge for just a second.
Josh, you just do what I do. You got this little thing called sticky apps or sticky notes. And then you go ahead and you pop that in there.
They're in the kitchen, so that's in between where I was at and another room.
Yeah. I bet that room's a little bitty.
No. But, I know who was talking about the holler earlier and jumping across hills.
I think we all were. We've kind of covered. We've covered a lot of ground, although we skipped from place to place. So,
Yeah, that's a myth.
No, we actually did it. Topic drift and differing points of view are a real thing. Let's see now. Well, the question isn't where were we? It's where do we go from here? So,
I have a question for you, Dan.
Okay.
You posted earlier today on your page, or yesterday, I should say now, since it's after midnight. Procol Harum's Wider Shade of Pale. Did you see the comment I posted with a cover of it?
No, I did not. I will have to go back and look. Evidently, I missed that notification. I've been watching a fellow who is retired Marine, and he is doing well, basically it's camping videos, but he's using various tents or Army surplus gear and whatnot. He will go out in the woods and by himself, or there were some a whole series of ones where he was with his son, who's about 12, 14 years old, and they would go out and do overnight camping, primitive camping, and he would test out new gear that somebody had come out with, or he would be using Army surplus gear. He would be using, just stuff he put together as a bug out bag sort of thing. And it's been absolutely fascinating. I have learned a lot, and then I have also drawn parallels between the stuff that I learned when I was living up in East Tennessee with my folks, and I was just a young child, and still learning stuff from my grandparents and aunts and uncles that had lived through, depending on their age, World War I, World War II, the Great Depression, and pretty much everything that has happened in the last century or so. But at that time, it was half century. So,
good night, Rick. I hope you and your son get to feeling better.
Yeah, I just saw that. Sorry, I'm being remiss as the host here. And hope to see you next time.
That's all right.
Anyway, this stuff was absolutely fascinating. I mean, he would go out and in one place that he went to, there was a rock wall, slightly undercut, and he built a little campground right there for him to take advantage of. constructed a windbreak about 2 foot from his fire pit, and all that would reflect the heat in underneath the little overhang of the rock face, and he'd have his sleeping bag and whatever underneath that. And he went through several different ways you could use that kind of natural formation in severe weather or cold weather, or if you had a car wreck or something and staggered off into the woods and were trying to survive long enough to be found by EMTs and this, that, and the other thing. I mean, he went through lots and lots of different scenarios. The guy's got
You need to post a link on Stupid O'Clock so people can check it out.
well, he's got like 140 different videos out right now, and some of them are about camping gear, camping. Some of them are about casting bronze. I really want to see those.
Mm.
But it's homemade stuff, and it's well, it's on the other computer. I can't transfer it from one to the other. But
Well, like
let
I
me
said, you don't have to be right now, just at some point.
let me see if I can do that. Because I am using um Chrome for the browser on both. So let me see here, and um, feel free to.
Talk amongst ourselves.
Well, I was trying hard to find a way not to say exactly that. But yeah.
Well, it's so fitting. Oh, well, Stephanie, how's your day went so far?
Um, it was a little bit of a quiet day, but I got some stuff done, so I'm pleased with that. And it's cold.
Oh, I
I'm
know.
I'm just it's hard to keep the house warm when it gets when the wind chill gets down around 10.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I got some stuff done today, and one of the things I'm really pleased about doing is I finally got my publishing business uh, books up to date. I kind of when Daryl died, I kind of lost it. Kind of just couldn't keep up with stuff,
Yeah.
and so I finally sat down this evening and got everything caught up. I don't think I forgot anything.
Okay.
So
Well, anything accomplished is a good thing.
yeah, I'm pleased. Everything things are starting to settle down now.
Yeah.
So my days aren't quite so hectic. I'm kind of getting a feel for stuff.
You can finally catch your breath a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So
Well, I've always said it doesn't matter how insignificant something is. If you've accomplished anything during the day, you've done one thing. It's better than nothing, and you've made some progress.
yeah, and I'd been putting off taking out the trash because it's been so cold and
Yeah.
so windy. And finally, today I was able with a friend's help. She was going to be in the area anyway, and she was
Hmm.
like, "Well, I'll help you take it out." So I got it out to the front porch,
Hmm.
bagged it up, and got it out to the front porch, and she loaded it on cart and trundled it down to the dumpster and tossed it. So I was gonna help her do that, but um, she's getting ready to go see her elderly, infirm father,
Mm.
and I'm pretty sure it was suggested to me this morning that my symptoms I could have the Omicron variant.
Yeah.
I'm 99.99999% sure I don't, because my symptoms are also that of grief and crying every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that would make much more sense.
yeah. So, but at the same time, I wanted to tell her in case she wanted not to come in contact with me.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, she said, if it was just me, I wouldn't worry about it. But she said, given my father's health, I'll take it off for you and you just get it to the front door and we don't have to, come into contact. So that's what we did. And I appreciated that no end.
Yeah.
Because one thing that is difficult is when you've been crying and your eyes are all messed up and your nose is all messed up. And then you step outside into that cold wind.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not sick, you got to be careful because you will get sick.
Yeah. You don't need to be out in it long.
So,
no, exposure will do a whole lot of damage when your body is already in a weakened condition. And
yes,
grief will put you in a weakened condition really quickly.
Yeah, because no matter what you do, your body is going to respond to that. So,
yeah, it can cause a lot of damage even if you aren't in a weakened condition. Just ask Paul Rubens.
Yeah.
Now, Josh, for a minute there until you flipped the hood back, I thought you were in a pre-Raphaelite oil painting there from Middle Ages or something. But you're ready for some severe weather now, ain't you?
I got kicked out of the house.
Okay.
He's in the doghouse now.
I'm in the garage now.
Oh, she wanted you to hush up and not do.
Yeah, she's got to get up in the morning to work. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of why I got the door closed to the office now. And
well, she kicked me out of my office so she could go to sleep.
Well, evidently your office is close to the bedroom, like my office is close to the bedroom.
Well, it looked like he was in the kitchen the last time I saw him because I saw
exactly. There you go, Chris. I was, but I was being too loud. Supposedly.
Well, we do have a habit of doing that when we get excited.
So
many horror movies that she watched, I'm surprised she go to sleep easily.
Give it about 10 minutes, she'll be passed out.
He gave her a roofie.
No, I didn't give her nothing. I just made her last drink.
Okay.
Now she's gonna.
I would have said it exactly that way.
Let's put it this way: Kimberly's going to take a Dimetap nap.
There you go. Knock one out.
You're skirting the borderlands of plausible deniability, there, boy.
Yeah.
She asked me to make it.
Okay,
well,
the scrawl going across the bottom is
Carpenter's Corner.
Sean Kelly's camping videos. Basically, he is a retired Marine, if a Marine can ever retire.
No. Did he wake back up?
He's doing some good work trying to get people to think carefully and plan carefully and enjoy the outdoors and be safe and embrace some of the traditional methods of doing primitive camping as well as doing store-bought camping.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and
I think Josh is thinking of the wrong Sean.
Yeah, I was thinking of Sean that went
Sullivan.
Sean Sullivan.
Yeah.
No, this is a guy that I've been watching videos on YouTube.
Okay.
Yep. Sean Sullivan is retired Navy.
So that means he probably is sleeping.
Yeah.
Because he has to open and close the store tomorrow.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be at work all day long tomorrow, whereas I will be sleeping until the butt crack of noon.
You and me both, hopefully.
No. Now, last night after the green room, I've got to say, everything shut down. All the conversations are over. I was talking to one fellow there just before the green room went totally non-existent, and I'm going, how does that happen? But
I should have never left.
I think you
we
were talking to Rick Bradley, because I know when I got out of there, my phone kept on dinging. And I think it was you two talking to each other. And then one of them said, either you or Rick, maybe it was Rick that said, "What happened? I got kicked out," or something.
Yep. It was me and Rick, and we carried on in Messenger for a little while, and then I needed to go eat something so I could go to bed, and I ate something. And I didn't go to bed. I woke up about 6 hours later, sitting in a chair right here where you see me now. I got to tell you, I did not know that Ritz crackers and pepper jack cheese would put me to sleep, but it certainly did.
Well, when you're tired,
I woke up at about 5:30 this morning in my chair.
Well, I've been sleeping in my chair ever since before Daryl died. So.
Well, somebody's been sleeping in my bed, and it was me.
Well, I'm looking forward to actually going to bed. I mean, in an actual bed tonight later on, not right this minute, but
well, my little studio is in my bedroom, so that's what makes it convenient. I can, if I figure out how to move the camera on the thing here, I could actually show you. Oh, maybe I can do it this way. Here, let's see.
We don't need to see you, Dad.
You're going to pull a John and Yoko and just streamcast from your bed?
No.
Yeah, look at that there. See, and this is what I'm missing right now. I don't know if you can see it or not, but
give all we're saying is give peas and carrots a chance.
Yeah, well,
it's bad. I'm sitting here looking like I'm in Chicago.
Hey, I'm the one sitting here in a house coat.
Well, yeah, you are in the house.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we got to go back up there on Tuesday, and I was just checking out the forecast for Elk Grove Village.
You're getting snow. I done told you that.
Well, yeah, I told you that before you told me. They were saying 2 to 4 inches tonight into tomorrow morning, and then maybe another additional inch or two Monday morning. But
4 inches total.
And I told Laura, I said, I'm going to be wearing the Wolverine boots and the Carhartt jacket and the stocking cap, and I'm probably going to take my snow shovel that she didn't want me to take because she says it was too big for her trunk. And I said, oh, I'll make it fit. I did the first time. But no, this is snow I can deal with. And we dealt 2 weeks ago, we dealt with 7.5 inches of snow plus ice on top of that. It's the cold. It's going to be a high of 13 degrees, a low of 6 below. So the high, I'm taking this by hour of the high forecast is going to be around between 1 and 2 o'clock, when we're going to actually be in a nice warm Eberly building there at Amita Health when we take her dad to get his shots in his eyes for his macular degeneration. Mm-hmm. The cold part is going to be when we're going back over there to do the stuff we need to do in a house that does not have heat.
Hey, Stephanie, are you buying into the last week of January snowstorm? Southeast and East Coast?
I don't know.
Well, I just sent Dan a picture of snow accumulations.
There you go.
Oof.
Yeah, that's
So talk
2
about it
foot.
because I can't see it. Oh, I mean, I can see it, but it's too small.
That's basically two. If you see pink and red, that's 2 foot plus.
Put it back up, please.
Okay.
I just expanded to full screen so I can look at details.
Oh, it won't. Oh. There we go.
Thank you.
I didn't
So
put
you
out.
said the pink.
Yeah, that orange and pink. That's the pink is
Now
18 plus inches. The orange is like 24 inches to 30 inches.
I can
Holy
make
crap.
out the outline of Florida at the bottom, so that means that there's going to be a little bit of crappy weather in my area.
Yep. If
Yeah,
this
I'm
this
gonna
is
Could be
just a
snow
model.
on the mouse.
This is just a model.
It
Yeah.
looks like that it'll be South Carolina, North Carolina, and just a little bit of northeast Georgia, and
Well,
then
like I said, this
going
is
on
just a
up.
model.
Yeah, well,
Don't hold me to that. But they have been.
I'm just looking at the map.
Yeah.
Which
Don't
model?
hold. Hey, but there's a couple of them lining up. I've been watching this for a couple of weeks. So
Which model
that-
is this?
Yeah.
I think that's I believe that's GFS.
Okay.
Because you're saying any of those American models aren't worth a hoot compared to the European ones.
European models have been on point so far this year on winter weather.
Well, as if North Carolina needs any more than what they've got already.
Well, I was about to say, that Kentucky, Virginia,
Yeah, West Virginia, especially after last night.
I was about to say my cousin, he lives in close to Wilmington. He had a little bit over 6 inches of snow. Had ice before that.
I don't know if you can see my mouse on the way I'm sharing the screen here now, but I'm about right here, and the really severe stuff is over here.
No, you're north of Augusta.
Oh, I'm way north of Augusta.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, I mean, I'm just judging from what I can see.
I am parallel with Atlanta.
Yeah, that's right. Me you talked about this. You're parallel basically to me.
Yep. Let's see. You could
Cut a line through Birmingham straight over to you.
you could just about go from where my house is through Atlanta and wind up in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And then well,
I am south of the east side of Cleveland, Tennessee.
Who was that?
that was Chris.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah, so I'm below Chattanooga.
Okay, just say there we go. Yeah, you gonna have some fun.
Yeah.
Where you
They
at?
usually have a lot of fun.
Hey, Miss Stephanie, can I call you Mom? Because it's a lot easier.
Okay. Or mama or whatever.
Yeah, where you at on that map?
I'm in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, yeah, you gonna
So
get
about dead center of the northern state line of Alabama.
Yeah, I know exactly where you're at.
Yep.
Yeah, but the viewers might not.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's in Rocket City.
Yep.
Yep. And I have actually been to the Rocket Museum there in Huntsville.
Speaking of viewers, Bob.
That was a lot of friends.
Y'all have a great concert area up there, the Von Braun Center.
Yep. We do that. You're not going to throw up the horse?
Oh, I don't have access to the horse without going back to
Okay.
the other channel.
The horse is back in the stable for the night.
I just had a paw come around the edge of my laptop here. It's like,
Elrond is searching.
yes.
Yep. Violet's over here on some of the big container Tupperware that we use to take pack up clothes and stuff for conventions, and she is absolutely sacked out.
Well,
Garfield's right here.
It's a good thing, because before we put her blanket over there on top of the Tupperware, she was right behind my chair. So if I did not remember she was there and I rolled back suddenly, she done seen a yeah, really. She got a sudden awakening that was not a pleasant form.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm in my recliner and I've got the footrest raised, and my legs kind of stretch. Well, one leg is pulled up a little bit, the other leg is stretched out, and I've got somebody kind of curled up in the hollow there behind my laptop. Yeah, we're talking about you. You gonna get down? You gonna get down? You don't have to.
well, earlier today she was on the front porch, and Lindsay let her in, and she went and sat with Lindsay for a while, and the office door was wide open, so she came back here and climbed up on top of my feet underneath my little lap throw that I've got, because we don't have the heaters set up real high, trying to keep ourselves comfortable with the electric bill within
Reason.
an affordable range. And she just sacked out right there across both of my feet, and I'm going, honey, I need to get up. What do I do? She says, slide your feet gently, slowly away from the cat. Put the blanket down on the floor. Then you can get up. And not an hour after that, I had done the necessary and went and got a refill and come back and re-snuggle the cat with my feet. She decided she wanted to wake up and she wanted to get petted, and then she went and hopped up on top of the Tupperware with her blanket there, and she has been comatose since. So I know that somewhere in that few minutes she went out to the kitchen where the food bowl is and demolished some cat chow.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hey,
she is sleeping it off like I would be sleeping off the green room on a Friday night.
I can say I've got my weenie dog trained now to where I can just go. He'll sit down and go one time. That means come in the house. Which he's done got old and blind, but
Hey.
he finally learned.
I almost coaxed Elrond around to snuggle with me right here, but now he's decided to get down and go.
He's being camera shy, as pretty as he is.
He hates cameras. He hates if he sees a camera, if he sees my phone, anything like that, anything that looks like it's looking at him, he avoids it. If I get good pictures of him, he has to be asleep.
Well, if you've noticed, that's how my dog is.
Yeah.
Whenever I get a picture of him.
Once in a great while.
Is this like your Carhartt jacket?
Kind of looks similar, but I don't have that pocket on the outside like you do, that zip one. I wished I did. My old one used to have a actual cell phone pocket.
Well, I got pockets everywhere on this thing.
Yeah.
Adjust my feet here so that my my bum knee is a little happier with me. I got one knee, my right knee. The day after Daryl's funeral, I wrenched it twice in the span of 5 minutes,
Ouch.
and I sprained something in it, and I gimped along on it for several weeks, and then it finally got better. And doggone if 2 days ago I didn't wrench it again. Sprained the same place. So I'm gimping again.
I've got a bad habit of there's this one catwalk across the production line that I have to go up on so that I can get across and go down the other side to get to my lab at work. And I'll get up the steps and be walking across that catwalk, and my left knee will go, "Oh, I've forgotten how to function." You know, it's a good thing there's a guardrail. Otherwise, I'd wind up in the packaging machinery 100 yards away.
Oh, and straight down.
Yeah. So they won't let me use a cane at work, but I'm beginning to think it might be a good idea if I went and got myself a broom handle and put a little rubber thing on the end of it and just go, "None shall pass."
Good.
Like I was telling Bill earlier, mine sounds like shotguns going off.
Oh Lord.
Mine sounds like Rice Krispies all the time.
Well, that's what I told Josh, because I'm bone on both knees. I had knee surgery on my left knee in '79, which made me overcompensate and got to my right knee. But no, I know, I think I was talking about this and Dan was there. Maybe you too, Stephanie, Thursday night. Laura went Friday to get her MRI on her shoulder. She had dislocated her shoulder, which she's been doing this since she was a teenager. And she's actually dislocated both shoulders almost equally, which I never knew that till tonight. But 2 weeks ago, last Tuesday, she dislocated her shoulder when we were coming back from Chicago, and I had to drive the rest of the way back. And she went and got x-rays the next day, wore a sling for a week and was off for a week. And then she went yesterday before work, after being back to work for about a week, to get her MRI, and she got the results today already. That was in her patient portal. Won't bore you with too many details, but the main thing is at the top by the rotator cuff, there is a tendon or muscle called supraspinatus. I'll spell it because I know I'm not pronouncing it right.
You're right. Supraspinatus.
SUPRASPINATUS. Now there is.
That's the main muscle going on top.
Yeah, she has a full tear in that muscle. That, what did I say, Josh? It was 12 millimeters.
12 or 13 millimeter.
Yeah. So in length. So anyway,
which is half inch, I believe.
Roughly, yeah.
So,
which when you're talking about something like this, though, that's significant.
That's a significant tear right there.
Yeah, and that's the main tendon.
And that caused her a lot of pain. She couldn't lift her arm up like this. When we were at the auction Friday night, she was just kind of reaching around. Her jacket was on the chair, back of the chair that she was sitting on, and she was reaching around to get her cell phone out of the jacket and just doing this, not reaching all the way up, but just doing this. I seen her wince in pain. And even though her shoulder is no longer dislocated, it's Well, as she said earlier tonight, she's a hot mess. And so I told her, I said, she pulled up a really good article from, it was Melbourne.
If it's Australia, I don't believe it.
Melbourne Clinic. Melbourne armclinic.com. Or anyway, so very good, very informative article. I read through the whole thing, and then I told her, I said, I think you and your doctor are going to be talking about surgery. And she could be 2 to 6 weeks on the recovery, and then maybe a month or more on physical therapy. But she's going to have to do the paperwork, medical leave papers, so she doesn't lose, because she loves her job at Benny's Beverage Depot, and she's recently got a raise and got more responsibilities, and she does ordering now, and she's really feeling a part of it after 2 years working there. I mean, she's retired, police department, and she's got a job part-time just for something to do, but she really loves it. And I said, well, of course. I said, and they'll hold your job for you, because lawsuits are really beneficial against employers who don't want to do such things. But Benny's will work with her on that part. But it's just the whole idea of her not being able to drive maybe for 6 weeks or whatever. And I said, and we're talking about a few other things I don't want to talk about on here, but I just said, hey, I'll step up, I'm going to do everything we need to do to get through this and that, but it's major enough that she's never going to be the same again. And then she is fearing that she will overcompensate with her right shoulder and then risk doing something just as bad to it. So,
Well,
she's going to have to do it eventually. I mean, and it's probably going to be more 6 to 8 weeks with the rehab. So,
and she's not against the surgery. She up until a couple weeks ago, she probably would have thought, oh, this happens to me all the time. I pop it back, slide it back in. I'm fine.
That's what
when she knew. Yeah, when she slid it back in this time, she knew she still wasn't fine.
Well, I was out in Colorado in the Front Range, and I was out there hiking around, slinging hay bales, all this kind of stuff. And the next morning I woke up and my left knee was all swollen up and hurting, like basketball. And so I gimped around on that for a while. And then the right knee started hurting because I was putting so much stress on that knee for taking the stress off the left knee. And eventually an orthopedist, I went to see an orthopedist, and he went in, he decided that I had a torn meniscus, and he'd go in and he'd resurface it. That's what it looked like on the MRI. So he does arthroscopic surgery, and he goes in there, and I find out later he referred to it as a train wreck. He said it was not a torn meniscus. At this point, I'm bone on bone in both knees. And what he had thought was part of the meniscus was actually shreds of the cartilage that had worn off the bone, as well as bone grit. So he spent twice as long as he expected to spend just cleaning all that out of the knee.
They just scoped it something. They just scoped it.
Yeah. And so I'm bone on bone in both knees now. I injured a few years back. I injured my right ankle. I sprained it, and then before it could get well, I kept re-spraining it because I would trip over stuff. So now I have a bad ankle. My hips decided they didn't really care for the um, becoming the shock absorbers when my knees went. My low back is injured because during
Are
one of my abdominal surgeries, they evidently dropped the head and foot of the operating table to open up the incision and hyperextended my back.
uh,
My
have you been checked for rheumatoid arthritis or anything like
uh-huh,
that?
yeah, don't got it.
Well, see, I have psoriatic arthritis, and
Yeah, I have standard old age osteoarthritis developing, but I
okay,
mean that's kind of pretty much it.
and see,
The rotator cuffs impinge at the drop of a hat because I use my arms to compensate for my legs so much.
well,
And
see,
a horse stood.
I'm having problems with my insurance getting a new medicine from my rheumatologist for my psoriatic arthritis.
Well, a horse stood me on my head back in my polo days, so I have a neck that occasionally goes. Meep. So yeah, I'm kind of a mess. Hot mess is a good way to put it.
Man,
Hmm.
And
Well,
you know,
Laura,
I,
go
I
ahead.
I I feel for her. I get it totally.
Yeah.
So
Earlier last spring, she had surgery on this thumb because she had severe arthritis from the knuckle on down to this joint. Oh, sorry. I didn't have it over far enough so he could be on camera, but from here to here. So what they did was they scraped all that arthritis out of that bone, and what was left there, they put a plate in there and 6 screws to hold it together. So this thumb is about this much shorter than this thumb here, but she's still able to use it. And she was in such severe pain from this thumb, and she had carpal tunnel surgery on both arms before too. Her back is a mess too, but it's the least of her worries right at the moment. And she has arthritis in her foot, but the thumb was so bad when we would go to the auction, and she would have the brace on and everything. She would take the brace off. She had a medical card for CBD cream that she'd put on there. It worked for a while. It stopped working after a couple of weeks. Then they bumped her up to the next more potent, stronger one, which none of it, of course, had THC or anything like that. So you're not getting high. It just and anyway, long story short, it stopped working within a week. And that was the more potent one. And she was just constantly in pain, could not sleep, do anything at all. And she said, let's do what we need to do. And they did a surgery one day, and then, went back home. She was off work for a couple weeks. She had 2 different casts on her hands and because of it. But then when everything was all said and done, she said, I wished I would have did this a year ago. That pain is gone. And that now she'll have some other pain a little further down. And every once in a while, she still gets the CBD cream. And when we were coming back last Tuesday night from Elk Grove Village, because I was down in this basement in ankle deep water trying to switch out a sump pump in there, and the dampness and how cold it was down there and everything just did a number on my knees. And on the way back, I took a couple different 500 milligram Tylenol which it did absolutely nothing. And so I told Laura, I said, Laura, I have a big favor to ask of you. And she said, yeah, what? I said, when we get to your dad's house back here in downstate Illinois, to drop him off, I said, can I use some of your CBD cream on my knees? Because they were that bad from it. And I wouldn't have been able to sleep or anything. And said, okay. I said, well, I won't use much because this little cold cream jar that's about big around as a skull can costs around $60 for that. You know, it's not cheap, even with a medical card. But so she said, no, you use whatever you need to use on it. She said, don't worry about it. I'll have more, or I can get more. And so I just put some on each knee when we got there, and I handed her back her little cream container. And I mean, seconds, it was tingling on both knees. Kind of almost in the way of like how Bengay affects muscle aches and that soothing sensation of it. Now, it did not take away all the pain, but it just kind of cut the edge off of it enough that I was able to sleep. And that's great. And no, I'm not going to go out and get a medical card to get some for me, because one, I just couldn't afford to do that all the time. But I lived through enough of the pain and that I don't take any medications until it's absolutely necessary. And for me, it's a 40 count bottle of ibuprofen lasts me about 3 or 4 months because of that.
You shouldn't have to have a card for CBD, number one.
Well, she has a medical card for this to go there to get it.
Well, it's got to have THC.
This is a prescription one. This isn't over the counter.
No, it's got to have THC in it then.
No, it don't.
I don't know any CBD that don't. I mean, if it's prescription CBD, it's got to have THC.
Nope. Check it out. Google it.
Well,
what's the brand name?
That I don't know.
There you go. I'm just telling you my opinion, Bill.
I
can buy it right now in Alabama, and it's not a prescription.
What was you saying, Stephanie?
I have tried the oral CBD, and I can't take it. It triggers my anxiety disorder.
Now, oral, you're saying what, like gummies or something?
Yeah.
Gummies.
No. That stuff does have THC in it.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it don't? Oh, okay. A friend of mine took it because he had chemotherapy, he had cancer, and eventually died from it. But he used to take the gummies.
I'm sure you can get it.
As long as it don't have 0.3, as long as it don't have over 3%, it's legal.
I'm sure you can get it. It's got THC.
Yeah, I mean,
what I had didn't.
I was about to say the states that it is legal.
Yeah. And I can't take over the counter. The only things that I can take are Tylenol and aspirin. Everything else, I have IBSD, and everything else triggers that. Which, if you're in enough pain to take something like that, the last thing you need is to set off.
Yeah, I take Xarelto blood thinners, so me personally, I cannot take aspirin with the blood thinners. Now, Laura's 87-year-old dad, he takes the same Xarelto that I take, but he can take a baby aspirin every day. But I do have the Tylenol because when you're on Xarelto blood thinners, I did not know this, do not take a leave because you can run the risk of bleeding out.
That's more, with the leave.
Most of the NSAIDs, and by the way, Tylenol is not an NSAID. It
No.
does not reduce inflammation. Doesn't do a thing for inflammation.
No.
Most of the ones that do inflammation will thin the blood, and so you run the risk. Yes. My problem is that the Tylenol doesn't do that much for my joint pain.
But Bill,
and
if it's a prescription type CBD, it's gonna have THC in it.
Josh, probably not, because I mean, what they're doing is there's a difference
I'll take it back. It could be it has the prescription strength lidocaine. That'd be the only reason.
Well, there is always a difference between the dosages allowed in over-the-counter and prescription.
Right.
If you want,
it'd be a 5% lidocaine other than the 4% lidocaine.
If you want a prescription strength Benadryl, take 2 over-the-counter Benadryls. That's the difference.
My wife works. My wife works in a pharmacy. I know all about this. But
hey, Josh, can you not hear Stephanie on the other end because you keep doubling up with her?
You gonna start that shit again tonight?
If he doesn't, I might.
Yeah, you need to let her talk.
Go ahead.
Okay. You were saying something about Benadryl? Because I'm listening to you both.
No, she was just telling you to take 2 Benadryls instead of 1.
Dan, I think I'm going to call it a night.
But
y'all have a good evening, and I'm done.
Thank you, Stephanie, for joining in.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Good night.
Have a good night. No, I know as far as the pain.
Go ahead and take you 50 milligrams of fucking Benadryl, buddy.
No, I don't take Benadryl.
That's what she just told you to do.
No, I don't take. I take whatever my doctor tells me to take. But as far as over the counter stuff,
you sitting over there taking THC CBD.
No, I'm not.
Bill, I'm telling you, that's got THC in it. That's
I'll tell you what. I will go directly to the source tomorrow. I will have her
get them to get a print
take a picture of the ingredients, and you will see that it does not contain that, because I've already had this conversation with her a long time ago. So, but anyway,
I can get a printout right now. I can get a printout on my